Okay. So, I don't really know why I'm making this video. I want... stop, I'm about to cry already. Oh my god. I need to talk about my emotions, but I don't want to burden any of my friends. Bye. Fuck! God damn it. Okay, give me a minute. Hold on, let me get a Dr. Pepper. Wait, it's right here, never mind. It's Mr. Pibb, which my boyfriend says is not real Dr. Pepper, but they're basically the same. Okay. I don't want to burden anybody, and I know that, like, if I asked them, they would listen, but I don't want to. So, the past 4 to 5 days, I've been kind of doing a lot of binge drinking. Not, like, a lot. Like, I haven't been blacking out, like, averaging, like, 2 beatboxes per night, which, oh, I know, that's a lot. But, like, for me, who doesn't drink, and, like, I guess you could consider me a lightweight, like, that has been doing the job. But with not smoking, it's definitely been an adjustment. And my dreams are coming back. Not been great. I had a dream last night about my dad strangling me. And I think I woke up from that, and then I went back to sleep. And then there was some part of my dream that, I'm not gonna, like, say this specific, but it had to do with my sexual abuse, and that woke me up pretty quickly. That, like, jolted me awake, actually. And I don't know if I have to be ready, but ready for my dreams to come back, because I can't control what I'm dreaming about, and that's always been very frustrating for me, because whether or not I want to acknowledge a feeling, my brain is going to make me, like, that's just how the brain works. Like, a more lighthearted example is, like, there was this guy that I knew in high school, and obnoxious as hell. He actually reminds me of a basset hound with how fucking loud he is. Obnoxious as hell. But it's really frustrating that I was attracted to him, because I'm like, this dumb fucking idiot. But, like, I can't ignore, like, I know that cockiness, for some people, it really does, it does get me. Like, for the most part, I like quiet types, but sometimes, but, like, he appeared in my dream, and I remember being so fucking frustrated about that, because I'm like, bro, come on. But I think I'm done with my little binge drinking spout, because I honestly, it makes me feel bad, like, physically, and I'm not supposed to be drinking because of my meds and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just making me realize that with not smoking, and I don't want to drink regularly, I'm not gonna have anything to fall back on to self-medicate with, which I am on actual medications for my mental health, but even when I'm medicated, my brain is just fucking insane. Like, I know sometimes y'all will see the shit I post, and you're probably thinking, like, why? What the fuck? And you know what? Honestly, majority of the times when I'm saying out-of-pocket shit, that's just me. That I'm just like that. And it's hard to deal with. You know, I used to spend a lot of time wishing that my brain was normal, and wishing that I could just be like other people and not be so intense. Because even if it's intensity in a good way, dude, the whiplash from everything, it's just a lot to deal with. And, you know, I try not to think about it like this a lot, but depending on how severe your symptoms are, BPD absolutely can be a disability. And, you know, I hate to use this I hate to quote Kanye, but, like, I don't know, some days it's easier than others. A lot of days I try to think about it like my intensity is, like, my superpower. because I do think in a lot of ways it gives me a strength that is unique, because I am so driven about certain things. But I don't know. I think there's a lot about life that scares me. And another example, one of the ways my brain works is like, I can't help but think about the possibilities of everything. Like, you know, a plane probably isn't going to crash into your house. The chance is never zero. It could happen. It's probably not going to happen, but it could. And especially with me being a feminist and knowing so much about the statistics about violence from men towards their partners, even being in a relationship scares me a lot. Honestly, even if I was in a relationship with a woman, I think that the threat of violence and the threat or the fear of getting myself into something that ultimately is not going to be beneficial or fruitful, like, it's just, and I know I've heard a lot of other people with BPD say stuff like, you know, I feel like my symptoms really act up when I'm in a relationship, which, you know, with the way that I date, I tend to date for like years at a time. Yeah, pretty much years at a time. Long periods at a time. And I like being in relationships. I love love. But I think a lot of me smoking had to do with kind of quelling those everyday anxieties that I have about life. Because it's really scary to want to have a child and to want to be in a long-term relationship with somebody and knowing the reality that I could be killed. Because it only takes once. You know, my partner would never put his hands on me. I want to believe that, but what happens if and or when it does happen? And there's a lot of things like that that I worry about. Not specifically just with relationships, but like with the state of the world. And this sounds so fucking stupid when I say it out loud, but like, I worry about things like getting bombed. And I know likely that's not gonna happen probably, but it's a possibility, and my brain can't put down the possibilities. And that applies to everything in my life. Everything. And I think that's why I'm so intense about certain things, because it's not lost on me that things can happen. Even when you don't think they're gonna happen, life has a funny way of doing that shit to you, you know? And I think recently I've felt a great amount of shame if I think of ways that my life could be easier. You know, me being such a sexual person would not be part of that. It's actually extremely frustrating how excitable I am. And I wouldn't say that I'm like hypersexual. It doesn't like, I'm not like out here having unsafe sex and, you know, being impulsive to satisfy sexual urges. But like, I laugh it off a lot and stuff, but it is so frustrating. And you know, I'm sure some people are gonna feel like me talking about this, it's like dampening my confidence, which no, it's not. I always feel like this. It's not great to talk about all the time, like that doesn't solve anything. But I don't know, I'm kind of pulling a Trisha Paytas, I guess, right now. But that it is really freeing. It does feel good to talk about. And I'm sure nobody's really gonna care about this video just because I don't have like a specific topic, I guess. And this is much more of like a vent post. But I don't know, it's gonna be very interesting being me, like fully, like not fully unedited me, because me off meds is not, that shit's not fun, and I definitely would be self-medicating if I was off meds. But I mean, I'm at a place in life where none of this stuff is gonna get better unless I address it. And it's scary. And, like, I'm talking like the things that I'm needing to address are, like, huge things. No, I need to address, like, small things. But small things make me feel super bad. I feel a huge amount of guilt for some of the things that my brain produces. And also, you know, I've mentioned before I'm interested in polyamory and stuff, but it took me a long time to get to that point of acknowledging that polyamory might be an option for me. Because I spent a long time in all of my relationships just wondering why I couldn't be happy just being attracted to my partner, feeling like so fucking guilty. Because other people can be monogamous and that works for them, why can't it work for you? Like, you just must be, like, fucking perverse and just, like, sick and just, like, too lustful. And even though I've accepted that polyamory and being attracted to multiple people might just be naturally who I am, it's hard to get to that point and to actually make that lifestyle change. I think a lot of these things make me the unique person that I am. I think a lot of these things give me a great amount of strength. I don't know. I don't wish I was different. I don't. Because I think as painful as it is being me, I help people in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways that I couldn't if I was not the person that I am. This does actually make me feel better. And I'm gonna get embarrassed later. Oh my god, you guys don't even know. Every single thing I fucking post, later I get embarrassed and I'm like, why the fuck are you talking about this shit publicly? But then also, people do tell me that what I say helps, that they can relate to how I feel, that they feel the same, but they just don't talk about it. And so even though I'm embarrassing myself, even though I embarrass myself, it does have a net positive. It does. It does. Y'all might not believe me. It does. I promise you it does. And I've spoken on this before. I think a lot of people don't think that the small actions they take make a difference, but they do. And I know that because the small actions that other people have taken in my life have made a difference. And the small actions I take make a difference in other people's lives. I don't like to think about people having a purpose all the time. I don't think people need to have a purpose. But sometimes I feel like that's mine. Because all it takes is one person to start the conversation and the floodgates get opened. And you never know how big of an impact you can make on somebody. Anyways, yeah. So my dreams are coming back. And this is gonna be really hard. It's gonna be really fucking hard. But how can I truly know myself if I'm just blanketing the way I feel? I don't think I can. And I know some people might be like, why are you uploading this to your work stuff? Because I fucking can. And because, like my politics, my mental health is not something I can just separate. You know, some people can hide their depression, their anxiety, and it doesn't affect them that deeply. My illness is it makes me the way that I am. And again, like I've also spoken on this before, but I don't think that sex workers should be limited to not talking about the more sad, sappy stuff just because you want to keep this big appearance of, you know, I don't know. My marketing, at least, is that I'm sharing my life. I'm sharing what I go through, who I am, the reality of being a mentally ill, non-binary, fucking polyamorous sex worker. Oh my god, I hit all the woke points. Let me be serious. I'm serious right now. I'm being serious. But, I guess if you've made it this far, then, thank you. I really am about to start doing Trisha Paytas style, just whipping the fucking phone out, because this actually felt really cathartic. Like, really cathartic. Like, you purry baby. Look at you, you're gonna be on the YouTubes. You can be on the YouTubes. Oh my god, you're drooling already. Okay, let's get off my